Welcome to the Credit Union Business News Podcast, the only all business, all digital resource for credit unions. This episode is sponsored by Bator Training and Consulting. We create environments where employees actually want to come to work and members want to keep coming back. I am Kbator, your host for the Credit Union Business News Podcast. I've got a great episode today because we're going to hit a completely different angle of credit union business, which is on our charitable giving in order to build our brands, or as I like to say, doing well by doing good. And we have the founder and president of NetGiver, Berg, with us, and it's an exclusive credit union charitable giving app available to members of participating credit unions. So we want to talk specifically about that app. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ken, great to be here. Thanks for having me today. Really appreciate it.
Great to have you. You know, we already had a really good conversation before the record button got hit, which always makes me happy that we have the best part of our discussion before I press record. But we're going to try and recreate that a little bit on camera.
That puts a lot of pressure on us to sort of like step it up now. Now we got to like take it to the next level, right?
We do, but you're a professional. I've got every confidence that you're going to do perfectly fine in this.
We'll see what we can do. When we get to the Sound of Music solo, you're on that one, okay, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. That one, you know, as I talked about in my editing, will be edited out for the sake of everybody out in the community. But speaking of community, I mentioned that NetGiver is built by credit unions, specifically for the credit union community, which is special. Tell us a little bit about the motivation for the creation of NetGiver.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a great question, and look, you and I talked about this a little bit in the preamble. We're gonna geek out a little bit here on brand, and so one of the things I want to talk about is I want to talk about this idea that as credit unions, one of the things that's part of our ethos is to create a promise. We make a promise to the community, to our members, right? And whenever you've got a strong brand, what ends up happening is you fulfill that promise, whatever that promise is. You bring your money in, we'll keep it safe. Right? That's a promise fulfilled. That's part of what the brand of a credit union does. And so when you talk about the fact that your money's going to be safe and you deliver on that, your members realize that you're delivering your promise, and that builds brand equity, right? So in the case of credit unions in the community and taking a look at it from the standpoint of giving, right? We want to make sure that there's tools available for credit unions to be able to, what we call, add to their financial toolkit, right? You can talk about the fact you've got checking accounts, savings accounts, you've got auto loans and mortgages and so on and so forth, and so does everybody else, right?
Exactly.
You can talk about better rates maybe here and better rates there, but at the end of the day, the differentiator is the community involvement, the nonprofit aspect of a cooperative credit union like we're talking about. And so when you can bring giving into that financial toolkit, you fulfill a brand promise that sets yourself apart from the other financial institutions in the marketplace and fulfills the promise that you're making to your members and, quite frankly, your potential members in the fact that you're doing good, and by doing well, right? So doing well by doing good, right? So that's fulfilling the brand promise.
Right. You know, you probably already answered this question, but we'll delve a little bit more into it. Is the NetGiver program in how it builds a brand? Because I truly believe that you're onto something here, in that it's not only the brand and connecting with members, but also the culture and connecting with employees. All of your millennials and especially your Gen Zs that are getting into the workforce right now, they don't want to just earn a paycheck. They want to be part of something. They want to be involved in an organization that's not only winning, but winning for other people that are really supporting a cause. So maybe you could delve into how the NetGiver app works and how they truly do. You touched on building a brand, but how they also enhance a culture of a credit union.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right, and from your research and from your background as well, you get the millennials and the Gen Zers. They're going to be 75% of the marketplace in the next 5 years in terms of the workforce. So they're coming, right? They're the next.
Whether you like it or not, it's coming like a freight train.
Whether you like it or not, right? Exactly. But you take a look at what they align, what they align or where they put their money, right? Because that's really what the alignment comes down to. Where they put their money, they put their money behind brands that they believe do good, right? That they can get behind from the standpoint of community involvement, from the standpoint of being good corporate citizens and that kind of thing. And the statistics all show it. It's an amazing number. Millennials are one thing, and Gen Zers are even more than that, more involved. Something like 91% of their decisions are based on, are they doing work with something that means something to them, that's valuable to them. So the NetGiver platform is basically this. It's a mobile app that allows credit union members to be able to go into the app. It's white labeled to their credit union, so when they open it up, they'll see their credit union logo, they'll know they're connected there, and they can make a donation right from that app directly to any charity of their choice, any 501c3 they choose, and that donation then goes directly from their checking account to the charity without any middlemen in between it. And the best part about it is there's no credit card or platform fees, right? We talked about credit card fees and the interchange fees. Those are small, right? But if you think about on the back side of it, the nonprofit organization needs to have a platform to receive those funds. And sometimes those fees get as high as 7, 10% in some cases. So when you're giving $100, the charity is getting 90, right? It used to be when you wrote a check for $100, the charity got the full $100. But now there's got to be other middlemen in between there in order to receive that donation. As credit unions, we can fix that problem. It's a simple fix. We built the app to be able to do that. And so as credit union members, to be able to go into the app, make those donations, and send it to the charities they care about is really a game changer, especially when it starts coming to the millennials, the Gen Zers, and those people that are constantly on their phones, doing the vast majority of their business, right?
Yeah. Give us a great story, and agree with you 100% on what you're saying. I know our folks in the credit union industry always want to see examples rather than see theory.
Right.
I know that there are a number of credit unions that are already on this particular platform. Can you give us some examples of how that would, and you can give names or not give names depending on any agreements that you have, but can you give some examples on how some credit unions are using NetGiver right now?
Yeah, for sure. We've got a couple of really neat examples that are happening right now. So obviously we're in the middle of COVID, right? And so there's a
We
lot of,
are?
yeah, what?
What's that?
we're in the middle of this. We're in the middle of this pandemic, and when it hits at first, right, the credit unions that we're working with all started to sort of look at it and go, what can we do to help? How can we help? And so our lead partner credit union, Spire Credit Union here in the Twin Cities, said, look, we can be a part of this. We need to help out. So let's set aside some money and let's give it. And so they gave away $250,000 to nonprofit organizations and just small businesses in the community that needed the assistance of a credit union, right? And in the process of doing that, they used NetGiver to actually send the money to the charities, which was great because they didn't have to write checks. They didn't have to send any sort of, get involved with paperwork and that kind of thing. And then their members behind that saw that as well. And the members could then go into the app and also make donations to the organizations that they wanted to support or support the ones that the corporate credit union did. So in about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks worth of time, we put about $187,000 worth of COVID relief through the NetGiver platform with just Spire Credit Union, just here locally. And that was fantastic. And we were really happy to be able to do that, and I know Spire really appreciated it, and we really got a lot of involvement from their membership as well, seeing how they could make a difference in the community. And look, and we know this, right? There's a lot of people out there that are suffering right now, but there's a lot of people that aren't as well, right? We've got a lot of people in our communities that still have their jobs. They're working from home. They're not going out to restaurants and bars anymore, so they've got a little extra cash in their pockets, right? And those folks are wanting to be able to help out in some way, shape, or form. So a program like NetGiver and giving through the app is a simple way to do that. We try to make it super easy. So that's one example. The other thing that we're working on right now, which we're really excited about, and this is in cooperation with the Minnesota Credit Union Network, our league office here in Minnesota. what we're doing is we are putting together part of the See You Forward Day program. That's the day where the credit unions go out in the community, they volunteer in October on Indigenous Peoples Day. And what we're looking at is, and just about got it pulled together here, is all the credit unions on the platform on that day are going to be encouraging their members to be able to give to COVID-19 relief, either in plasma research here with some of the big hospitals we have in the state of Minnesota. I can't name them by name, but you probably know which ones they are. And also with Second Harvest, Heartland, in terms of food scarcity and helping with some of the food bank type stuff. So we're going to engage all the credit union members in the state of Minnesota that are on the platform to be able to give to that program starting in October and running through the end of the year to help with COVID relief. So those are two big programs and initiatives right now that are happening on the NetGiver platform that we're very excited about.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want to go back to the story about using NetGiver to give to small businesses. All of what you said was perfect and spot on, but specifically we said we were going to geek out on branding, so this is that time. I talk a lot to credit unions about the idea of charitable giving and associating our brand with the right brands, with the right charities and so forth. And I think for community credit unions, because I believe when it comes to brand messaging, brand awareness, and cutting through the noise, community credit unions have the toughest job because they're playing in the pools with the Chases and the Wells Fargo. But I think if you can find that niche, and one of those ways is to support those small businesses in your community, to be that true community resource. I think that if you could do that and use a platform like NetGiver to do that, you really have an opportunity for the right reasons to build your brand and differentiate yourself in that particular community or region.
Yeah, and NetGiver is specifically designed for those 501c3 organizations. Spire made the donation as a credit union to be able to make those, to help out the community that way. And that was their choice to do that. And you're right. I mean, I think that really helps establish yourself, because look, those people that run small businesses are members of the community, right? I mean, they're people that are part of that community. And if you can help a small local restaurant as a credit union, by all means. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I think is available to be able to be, a partner in that way. Now, in some cases, credit unions might not be able to do that, right? But with NetGiver on the nonprofit side, if you can engage your membership, you can't help every nonprofit organization, right? I mean, you just can't, right? So you've got, you're a 60,000 member credit union. You've got 60,000 people that can help with that, right? I mean, and if some of them are suffering because of the economy and they're not able to give, well, the vast majority of them still can, right? So from a leadership perspective, to be able to then come back out and say to those that can help, look, we're involved in the community. We're helping this way, and this way, but you can also help by donating, through a program like NetGiver, through an app like NetGiver, and that can help make an impact on the organizations you care about. Then that becomes, basically you're flexing your muscle there. You're taking the members' resources, and you're saying we're gonna devote it to a program like NetGiver, and then we're gonna let the members choose to prop up and lift up any organizations in the community that they want to. And then as a credit union, we're going to go and we're going to be corporately responsible. We're going to be able to be, doing good in the community, right? In other ways, in ways that we can, that maybe members can't do by themselves. But, I always say, we always talk about the assets in a credit union. You've got you talk about the different size credit unions, a $500 million, asset, $1 billion credit union, that kind of stuff. But really, in actuality, the biggest asset a credit union has is its members, right?
Yep.
So why not engage those members in a way that, empowers them and shows them that giving is really part and supports the giving that you do as your credit union, and supports the ethos that credit unions always have, the foundation that they've been built on.
Now a word from our sponsor, Bator Training and Consulting. It's pretty clear that due to COVID-19, it's going to be a long time before any large in-person events will be available in the credit union industry. You may not even want to count on having the GAC or any other conferences in 2021. Sure, there are a number of quality online options to learn, but what about those conversations with your peers during the conference coffee breaks, during lunch, and at the end of the day over dinner? Some might say that was the most valuable aspect of attending an in person event. That's why we created the Credit Union Business News online collaboration group. The program is based upon the concept of open space technology, a technique I have used successfully within the Police Officers Credit Union Association for years. It's in essence a formalized coffee break conversation that has specific topics that are critical to the credit union industry today. Would you like to learn more about being a part of it? Then send an email directly to me, Ken Bator, at Kbator, Bator, at btcinc.net. I'll be happy to give you more information and invite you to be a guest during the next Credit Union Business News online collaboration group. You know you want to be part of the conversation. Yeah, I would say your biggest assets are your members and your employees, because you can't have one without the other. And I think that an app like this, as we talked about at the top of the show, really can get your employees involved, especially because one of the things that credit unions have been doing extremely well for a long time, going back to 1993 when I started this in this industry. I was probably about 12 or 13 at the time. I know everybody believes that, but yeah, they've always done a really good job of support and the ubiquitous helping people, people helping people when they really need it. And I think that a lot of the great employees, and I think about 80% of the credit union employees are great employees, and they're doing charitable stuff, to use a technical word, on their own time and being paid by the credit union to do, in some cases, to do charitable work and so forth. And unfortunately, some of those opportunities, just simply because of COVID-19 and not being able to be in an in-person environment, a lot of those activities have stopped. But it seems like the NetGiver in some way is a way to get employees involved and rallied around that particular cause as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of times the employees don't have individually don't have a lot of say over the direction of the credit union necessarily, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look, it's going to run like it's going to run. There's leadership direction, that kind of stuff, and in their day-to-day job, they're there beating the drum that the credit union leadership has put in place, and a lot of that is about being good corporate citizens, good in, community involved people. And when you can take and you can, and we've seen it, happen over and over again. When you are able to put in the hands of an employee of a credit union, NetGiver, and show them that in under a minute you can make a donation to a charity, it just reinforces the values that you've been talking to them about as your credit union, and it makes them go, well, I can show this to people. I can show this to members,
Yeah.
and I can say, hey, look, we've got this great app, and you can go ahead and use it, and you can use it to give to the charity of your choice, and it fulfills the promise that we've been talking about all along. So it's very fun to be able to do that, and be able to show that to the employee, right, to the credit union employee, and be able to say, well, that makes all the sense in the world, and then be able to then turn it around and go, look, the NetGiver app is right on my phone, and all I have to do is to be able to open it up and show members how they can use it, how they can give to the program, and super simple to be able to do that and just get it right there.
Yeah.
Easy to be able to open up and do it. So it resonates well, I think, with employees when they see that, hey, it's tangible. It is right here. We
Yep.
we have it right here. Our logo is right on the screen. So
Yeah, awesome. The tough question I've got to ask, especially for all those VP of marketing, all of those folks that are the culture builders, in the credit union, the chief experience officers. that have to report to a CEO. Unfortunately, I will say this, my opinion, that lately, I'd say over the last 10 to 15 years, the CEOs that I've come in contact with credit unions have been phenomenal, where they've had a whole holistic and global view of the credit union as a business, rather than my experience in the 90s, where the CEO just literally added a line in the from the CFO title and approached it that way. But I know that some are still going to get this question when they say, "Hey, look at this NetGiver. Yeah, it would be great for our credit union." And the CEO asks, "Well, how does this contribute to the bottom line? Yeah, how does this help our credit union move forward financially?" I have an answer to that, but do you have an answer to that, Eric?
As a matter of fact, we do. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this is the kind of thing, and we hear from all different types of CEOs looking to do different things within their organization. One of our we're a QSO, right? So one of our investing credit unions is a 290 $300 million credit union, and the CEO of that organization has said, look, I really appreciate the fact that we can use NetGiver for a member acquisition as a member acquisition tool, right?
Hmm.
We pay
Yep.
somewhere in the $300 per member cost to acquire somebody like that. But we want to use it from a member retention standpoint. We want to keep members in. We've made this promise. We want to keep those members, and we want to say to them, stay with us because we've got these great programs that you can't get anywhere else. You can't go to a bank and get a program like this. And so if you're supporting the local the high school, program, music boosters or whatever it might be up at the high school, this is the way that you can continue to give to them, and you can make your donation to them so that 100% of your donation gets there. And so they're using it from that perspective. When we come back and take a look at it from a member acquisition standpoint, the ability to be able to have this community, like you talk about the co-branding part of it, right? Well, if your credit union is connected and has been sponsoring to your, you had mentioned that you would work with Second Harvest Heartland and things in the past.
Yeah.
Imagine being at a fundraiser, right? And you've sponsored that fundraiser, and that fundraiser is, you've got a $15,000 check behind that sponsorship. Now, when they go to collect money at the end of the auction time or whatever, why not put the NetGiver logo up along with your credit union and say, if you're a credit union member, you can give, and we get 100% of that donation through NetGiver, through the NetGiver app. Just go ahead and download it on your phone right now. You can make that donation right away. Now, you probably have 20% or 30%, maybe more in the crowd that are members of your credit union. But the ones that aren't are going to be looking around going, hey, I want to do that. Why can't I do that, right?
Yeah.
What a great opportunity to be able to say, as part of that partnership, this is the kind of thing that credit unions do. What a great platform to be able to say, this is the kind of thing that separates us from the banks and the big banks, the Wells Fargos of the world. When you can say something like, this is where we're different. It's part of our financial toolkit. We'll provide you with all the other things, but we also care about what you care about and what you give to, and this supports that.
Yeah, I would assume too. I love that answer because it's a way of one of the things that irks me in the industry sometimes is we want to talk about the credit union difference. And it's my take that while the credit union difference is important, and maybe, as I like to call it, the batting order of brand associations. It is a powerful brand association, but it's not your leadoff hitter. It may be like sixth or seventh in the batting order, where you want to lead off with your differentiation. Because everybody wants to know, well, what's in it for me? What's different about you? Learning about credit unions in general just doesn't grab me. But learning about exactly how I can be a part of a cause and take care of myself at the same time. Now that's interesting, whether you're a bank, credit union, Jiffy Lube, whatever you are. Now all of a sudden I care. So I would assume that it's a leveraging point to be able to not only get them in as a member, but also to sell the right suite of products. In that, hey, you have a checking account, a share account, and so forth. And hey, you know what? You can give to this charity right through this app by having these products with us.
Yeah, it's a great foot in the door from our perspective, and then also then what comes behind that. I'll tell you a funny story. We were working
We
with
no, we hate
no
funny.
funny stories.
We hate humorous and entertaining stories on the Credit Union Business News podcast. It's all
I'll
serious.
try to tone it down a little bit. So it's not. This won't be a belly laugher, but I think it'll be one of interest. How's that sound?
Go for it. Tell your story.
There was an organization, an arts organization here in town, and we were working with them in relationship to getting them on the enrolled in the platform, because they had called to ask some questions about what exactly is NetGiver. And so we explained that we're working with these credit unions, and they're looking to be able, their members want to be able to give to your arts organization, big arts organization here in town. And this was one of the guys in development, right? Finances called them and said, we need to look into this. And so he said, well, why? So what you're saying is their members will just be able to give money to us, and there's no fees associated with it? We don't pay a fee. The members don't pay a fee. Who pays for this? He said, well, the credit unions cover the cost. It's a small cost. It's not a credit card transaction fee. It's this is happening from checking account to checking account. So it's an ACH thing. And he said, so the credit unions are paying to cover that? And we said, yeah, that's what credit unions do. That's where they're different. And he said, I never knew that. I need to look into opening a credit union account. When we get off this call, I'm gonna go ahead and look into opening a credit union account, just because I didn't realize that's what they did. Right? Yeah. That's the point of differentiation you can make when you start talking about to people about what makes us different, what sets us apart, and to be able to take a look at it from a tangible perspective. Because you can say, well, credit unions give back, we're a not-for-profit organization, that kind of thing, but everybody says they give back. There's cause marketing in all sorts of industries. But when you actually have an app that actually does that, and you can actually showcase it and say, look, we actually have an app. You just have to hit the give button right here. When you hit the give button, you can make a donation to any charity of your choice. That's how we fulfill that brand promise that we talked about at the beginning, and then that resonates with people.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. So is there possibly a number one tip for credit unions out there, whether frankly it involves NetGiver or not, when it comes to cause marketing and leveraging that is probably the better verb to use to build your credit union brand out there?
Yeah, and here's why I like branding when it comes. So you've got this world of marketing, right? In marketing, you've got advertising, you've got branding, you've got marketing, you've got digital marketing, you've got all these different things. You've got cause marketing, you've got events, all sorts of things like that, right? What I love about brand is that brand is honest. If you tell somebody that you're going to do something and you deliver on it, that's all that is, right? That's the association there. Mm-hmm. If you tell something you're going to do something and you don't deliver on it, then your brand falls apart. The relationship falls apart. It's no different than you and your wife, and you tell her you're going to take out the garbage and you don't do it, and after a while she's like, look, you've been saying you're taking out the garbage.
That's why she's pissed.
What? That's why she's upset, right? So just grab the garbage and take it out, right? Now, if you never say that you're going to take out the garbage, it still might be a responsibility, but you haven't promised it, right? When you make that promise, when you say that we care about the community, we're involved in the community, you got to show it somehow, right? And you can do it in a lot of different ways, but with technology and with the ability to scale with technology these days, it's a lot easier to involve much more of your membership than might show up at a 5K, right? Or that might show up at this event or that event. You can give them a tool, let them do it at 2 o'clock in the morning on their phone if they want to. You're delivering your brand promise. And I think that's the key. And when it comes to this whole industry, and whether it's the financial industry or whether it's a different type of industry, that brand promise and that deliverable is so important to instilling that trust and maintaining that long-lasting relationship. From a millennial or a Gen Zer who's 23 years old right now, all the way up to somebody who's 73 years old. So, and it's funny, we get a lot of people on our app that are older people that are that are using the technology because it's simple to use, right? They've got a smartphone, so they
Yeah.
download the app, they use it, and so we're seeing all age groups using it. It's not just the young people that are using it, and that's part of the brand promise that we make. We want to make it simple, safe, and secure so that your members are able to give very, very easily. And we take care of all the back end stuff. We make it super simple for them to be able to give and then support you in the brand promise, so the credit union, the brand promise that you're delivering to the community.
Yeah, awesome stuff, Eric. For those out there that are really interested in the NetGiver program, motivated by the idea, or just need some more information, how best can they find NetGiver out there in the world?
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, you can visit our website at netgiverapp.com, netgiverapp.com. I'm sure you'll put that in the links and stuff. And
Maybe.
then maybe not, right? It depends. Well, we're not going to promise that, people. So it's not a brand promise yet,
Yeah.
right? But
Yes,
NetGiver
I
app,
will. I will put it in the show notes.
sounds good. NetGiverApp.com is the website, and from there they can see all of our resources. They can sign up for our webinars. We do those on a regular basis, and by all means get a hold of us there. You can email me directly, Eric, ERIC, at netgiverapp.com with questions you might have. And we're having conversations. We're getting people involved. We're getting credit unions signed up. We're working with members. We're seeing some fun things happen on what different credit unions are doing to raise money for their pet projects, for their organizations, and it's really been fun to be involved with. So we can't wait to help anybody out there that's looking to be able to make an impact and make a difference in their community as well.
Awesome. Great story on NetGiver. A lot of good advice on cause marketing and branding. Eric, thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Hey, thanks for having me, Ken. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your time today.
Pleasure was all mine. Thank you again. And thank you to all of you that have either watched or listened to this episode of the Credit Union Business News podcast. And we will be back with you in about 2 weeks with another great guest. Take care.
Learn more about Credit Union Business News at creditunionbusiness.com. Suggestions for the Credit Union Business News podcast can be directed to Tim O'Hara at tim@cubusiness.com or Ken Bator at Kbator, Bator, at btcinc.net. To learn more about this episode's sponsor, please go to btcinc.net.